does such good things. Oh, we're going this way. Exhibit it in there. This is Chris Bickford and his 2019 Corvette Grand Sport. And Chris, I mean, realistically, what we have here is a fairly straightforward, fairly stock, but so well optimized car for the track. I want to know from you, why did you settle on, first of all, this car, but also why keep it so simple?
So yeah, this is a pretty stock Grand Sport. It has basic mods, sway bars, wheels and tires, brake pads. You know, everyone does that to their cars.
Yeah.
The thing that I like about it is, yeah, it's very simple, very optimized, it's reliable. That's the biggest thing for this car for me. I started with an Evo 10 that ended up being 500 horse. I went through 3 motors in a year, and I was tired of playing the game. So there's no replacement for displacement. And this is, I mean, this is my second one. The first one was the base model.
Sure.
And I wanted this for the wider body, wider stance, bigger brakes. And really the Grand Sport over any other C7 is it's optimized for that motor. It has great cooling. I have no brake fade from the heat. And I mean, it makes 450 horsepower.
Sure.
It's fast enough.
Do you drive it? Do you live with it day to day? Is that part of the reason that you've kept it simple, or is it still just a track focused car?
No, I mean, you know, the only track thing about it that makes it hard in the street is the alignment. It
Sure.
goes through, it eats up street tires pretty fast just because of the aggressive alignment. But I put like 3,000 miles on this car, which is not a lot, but I do have another race car at home that's more horsepower that I drive too, so it's hard to, you know, that car kind of comes out when it goes to shows, but this is my all-around car.
Yeah.
It's a beast at autocross, it's a beast for the class, and I mean, you can't, you know, be taking the top off and cruising around town. That's why I fell in love with the Corvette, was because the top comes off.
So when you got the car, I mean, you said you've got the bars done to it, you've got a little bit of a tune, there's a couple of little tweaks you've done. Were you dissatisfied when you started with it, or did you just say, I know this is what it needs?
So with this car in particular, I knew what it needed. Like I said, I had a C7 base that had mag ride.
Sure.
This has the same suspension on it. I knew with that car, I had to do brake ducting on it because it didn't have it from the factory. This car has all of it. And pretty much everything from that car that I liked, I transferred over. I didn't go crazy with the tune. I didn't go crazy with power adders because it did make a big difference as much as just a really well sorted alignment. And, you know, it has the factory arrow on it even, you know. No, I love being in grid and, you know, seeing the cars that are around me, they all have huge wings and huge, you know, plywood splitters. And, you know, you take the stickers off, I mean, this is any other Corvette.
Absolutely. So you have built this car for a specific discipline. It's built for Gridlife's Street GT class, which means there's some rules involved, and you had to maybe sacrifice a bit with the wheels and tires.
This car is built for this class. That's why I went from my base to this, because this, in my mind, this is what I thought would be the car for the class.
Sure.
I think it obviously is.
Well, you're winning that class this year.
As of right now, I'm winning the class. I got a couple wins. I still have one track record for the class.
Cool.
But as far as tires go, I run something different than pretty much any other Corvette owner has, just because, you know, this comes stock with a 21-inch rear, 20-inch front. I'm running 18 square for a couple reasons. One is tire availability. You pretty much have to run 18s to run the whole gambit, which I ran every 200 tire in this car that you can get your hands on. And as well as I can rotate the tires front, back, side to side, so I can help with that tire wear, which this car eats through tires. So it helps with that as well, which makes things a whole lot easier. And
so it's a good economical car.
Once you get past that MSRP, it's oil changes and tires. It's not bad.
It really isn't, yeah. And I see you have the 6-speed. They come with 8-speed auto as well, right?
Yeah. DCTs up to this point, I think, can either take abuse or take power. Not necessarily both. And so I know I'm always going to track these cars.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with the manual, because they can do both. I think it's a little bit easier on them. Yeah. That's why my Camaro is the same thing, because it's going to get power, you know, big power one day, and I want to be able to have that reliability in the transmission.
Well, and it's also got one of my favorite features of all time in modern cars, auto lift, right?
Yeah, this is rev match.
Oh my God, I know this may not be a popular statement, but I love the auto rev matching. I will take an automatic if I can get it in most cases, but I mean, there's something so poetic about taking a car that is mostly already a track car and then just optimizing it a little bit for the track, but not going crazy. I mean, you take a look under the hood, there's, Corvette.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Nothing aftermarket there.
So we'll do all the track prep it needs. Take it for a spin. So we're in a Corvette Grand Sport, and this is the newest car in our series. And that means there's buttons to push. So we're gonna get it in the mode we need. And that is 2 taps over to get to track mode on my mode select. And then it is hold the traction control button off. There we go. Both lights on, so we're gonna roll on out. Now I've had the fortune to drive a number of these Corvettes. They are a ton of fun, but Chris's in particular is very well tweaked just to get exactly what you need out of it without anything more. And luckily the Street GT class it's prepared for is kind of perfect for that. You don't need a lot. We have plenty of power, 400 some horsepower, probably to the wheels. We'll get down to third. We're gonna come out of turn 3. And there we go. First of all, that never gets old, and this car will do that all day, every day. And yeah, I know the turns are fun, but come on, horsepower is fun too. So the other part about this car that I absolutely love as I get to this next corner is this. Get my leg up here. Auto blip. I love that. I know that's maybe a weenie thing to say as a race car driver, but I will take auto blip every day of the week if it means I never miss a shift coming into a corner. Go have some fun real quick here. Down the back straight, into 11, floats just a bit. Pick up the power. Ooh, power down's good in this car. That rotation in, man, this tire setup is phenomenal for the balance of this car. You don't always get that progressive of rotation out of these C7s. Sometimes it's a little bitey. This one is nice and progressive. I love that. All right, let's do one more. Down into 11. Throw it in. And here we go. Much better that time. I love these cars. I love anything that can roll off the showroom floor and do that. And Chris probably has less in this car than guys doing laps way slower than that. 136.6, 400 horsepower, temp gauge pegged right at the center. Not a worry in the world. And The great thing is also, I mean, a lot of times cars won't do faster laps the second time. It's very rare in Time Attack that you get a faster lap on your second attempt. And yeah, I did a cool down in between the two, who cares? I went faster the second time. So this car is very well composed. And he's probably gonna go drive it home the way it sits as soon as I get out of it. Can I have this car, please? I love these things. This is so fun. I'm not even tired after doing that because it's just comfortable. It makes it easy. I have power steering. I have a comfortable seat. Auto blip. I can't look like an idiot when I miss a shift on the downshifts. It's just like all the best stuff. So I'm keeping it.